The notification sound from my phone cut through the silence of my apartment like a knife through butter. It was 11:47 p.m., less than 12 hours before I was supposed to marry the love of my life, Maggie Chen. Wait, that's not right. Maggie Sullivan. Beautiful, ambitious Maggie Sullivan, who worked at Preston and Associates law firm and had somehow agreed to marry a blue-collar tech guy like me. I was hunched over my laptop, trying to fix a bug in the wedding slideshow I'd been working on for weeks. My name is Jack Morrison, and I run a small web design business out of my cramped apartment in downtown Millfield, a college town that tries too hard to be cosmopolitan but still smells like pizza and beer most nights. The phone buzzed again, then again. Jesus, who's texting this late? I muttered, reaching for my iPhone. The screen showed I'd been added to a group chat called Maggie's Big Day Squad. Must be one of her bridesmaids accidentally adding me instead of someone else. I was about to leave the chat when I saw the messages rolling in. Tessa, maid of honor. Girls, is everyone ready for tomorrow's performance? Becca. I still can't believe Maggie's going through with this charade. Sarah K. At least she'll be Mrs. Morrison for like 5 minutes before she dumps him for Brett LOL. My blood went cold. Brett Patterson, Maggie's boss at the law firm, the guy who'd been texting her constantly for the past 3 months. Tessa. The plan is still the same, right? Maggie plays happy bride, gets through the ceremony, then discovers she made a mistake during the honeymoon? Maggie. God, yes. I can't wait to get this over with. Jack's so boring I might die of suffocation before we even get to Cancun. I stared at the screen, my hands starting to shake. This had to be some kind of joke, some twisted bachelorette party prank. Becca. Remember when he tried to impress your dad by talking about his little computer business? I thought your mom was going to laugh in his face. Sarah K. And those clothes, does he shop exclusively at Walmart? Maggie. The worst part is the sex. It's like being intimate with a golden retriever, enthusiastic but completely clueless. The phone slipped from my hands and clattered onto my desk. I felt like someone had reached into my chest and yanked out my heart. These weren't strangers talking about some random guy. This was my fiancée and her best friends, discussing me like I was some pathetic charity case. I picked up the phone with trembling fingers. The messages kept coming. Tessa. So Brett's definitely going to be at the Lakeside Resort next weekend? Maggie. Already booked the room next to ours. Jack will probably pass out from the complimentary champagne anyway. He has the alcohol tolerance of a 12-year-old. Sarah K. What if he finds out? Maggie. Please. Jack's about as observant as a brick wall. I've been planning this for months and he hasn't suspected a thing. Tessa. Perfect. By next Sunday, you'll be free to be with someone who actually deserves you. I set the phone down and walked to my bathroom mirror. The face staring back at me looked like a stranger. Jack Morrison, 28 years old, owner of Morrison Web Design, graduate of Millfield Community College. The guy who'd spent the last 6 months planning every detail of tomorrow's wedding. The guy who'd worked 16-hour days to afford Maggie's dream ring. The guy who was apparently the biggest joke in his own love story. I walked back to my desk and screenshot every single message. Then I sat down and started planning. If Maggie and her friends wanted a performance, I'd give them one they'd never forget. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. At 6 a.m., I was already dressed and driving through Millfield's quiet streets. I'd spent the night printing 150 copies of the group chat screenshots at the 24-hour FedEx office. Clean, clear copies that showed every cruel word, every heartless laugh, every detail of their plan to humiliate me. My first stop was the Millfield Grand Hotel, where most of our out-of-town guests were staying. I slipped copies under every door, including Maggie's parents' room. Then I hit the Comfort Inn, where my college buddies were crashed out after last night's bachelor party. By 7:30 a.m., I was at Riverside Gardens, our wedding venue. The staff was already setting up chairs and decorating the arch where Maggie and I were supposed to exchange vows in 6 hours. I found the guest book table and left a stack of screenshots with a note. Wedding favors. Please take one. My phone had been buzzing nonstop for the past hour. Maggie, Tessa, my brother Mike, my business partner Bob. I ignored them all. Instead, I drove to Sal's Diner on Main Street, ordered coffee and pancakes, and started recording a video message on my phone. Hey everyone, I said, keeping my voice steady and calm. If you're watching this, you've probably seen the screenshots by now. I want you to know that I'm okay. I'm not angry. I'm grateful. Grateful that I found out who Maggie really is before I legally bound myself to her for life. I took a sip of coffee, letting the pause build drama. To my friends and family who traveled here for our wedding, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but I think you'll agree that marrying someone who thinks you're a golden retriever in bed probably isn't the foundation for a lasting relationship. I smiled directly into the camera. As for Maggie, Tessa, Becca, and Sarah, congratulations. You got exactly what you wanted, a show. Unfortunately for you, I'm the one writing the script now. I ended the recording and sent it to everyone in my contacts list, then posted it on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter with the hashtag #MillfieldWedding. By 8 a.m., my phone was exploding. I was back at my apartment, calmly packing a bag, when someone started pounding on my door like they were trying to break it down. Jack, open this door right now! Maggie's voice was shrill with panic. I could hear other voices with her, definitely Tessa and probably the other bridesmaids. I opened the door wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Maggie stood there in her silk pajamas, her face red and streaked with tears. Behind her were Tessa, Becca, and Sarah, all looking like they'd been dragged out of bed. What the hell is wrong with you? Maggie screamed, pushing past me into my apartment. How could you do this to me? To us? I closed the door and leaned against it, crossing my arms. Do what, exactly? Share the truth about our relationship? Those messages were private. Tessa stepped forward, her eyes blazing. You had no right? I had no right? I laughed, and the sound was bitter even to my own ears. I had no right to defend myself against being humiliated by my own fiancé. Jack, please, Maggie's voice broke. I didn't mean those things. I was drunk. I was just what? Just planning to cheat on me during our honeymoon? Just counting down the minutes until you could dump me for your boss? Becca, who'd been quiet until now, spoke up. Look, we're sorry about what we said, but you're being completely psychotic about this. I turned to her slowly. Psychotic? I haven't laid a finger on anyone. I haven't destroyed any property. I haven't even raised my voice. All I did was tell the truth. You ruined everything, Sarah was crying now. The wedding, the reception, our reputations. Your reputations? I walked to my laptop and pulled up Facebook. Let me show you what's happening to my reputation right now. The screen showed dozens of comments on my video. Most of them were supportive, but plenty were brutal. Jack Morrison is a vindictive psycho who can't handle rejection, I read aloud. What kind of man humiliates his fiancée like this? Dodged a bullet, Maggie. This guy is clearly unstable. I closed the laptop and looked at each of them. So, let me get this straight. When you humiliate me in private, that's just girls being girls. But when I defend myself in public, I'm the villain? Maggie wiped her eyes and tried a different approach. Jack, I love you. I made a mistake, but we can fix this. We can still get married today. We can work through this. With Brett? The question hung in the air like a toxic cloud. Maggie's face went white. That's over, she whispered. I'll end it. I'll quit my job if I have to. When did it start? Jack, when did it start, Maggie? She looked at the floor. 3 months ago. 3 months. Right around the time she'd started working late every night. Right around the time she'd stopped wanting to have sex with me. Right around the time she'd started picking fights about wedding details. "Get out," I said quietly. "Jack, please, get out." They left, Tessa shooting me a look of pure hatred as she slammed the door. I sat down at my desk and opened my laptop. Phase 1 was complete. Time to start Phase 2. My friend Danny Rodriguez, wait, that name's off limits. My friend Danny Walsh runs a private investigation business out of a strip mall office between a nail salon and a tax preparation service. We went to high school together, and he owed me a favor from when I'd built his website for free. "Jack, what the hell is going on?" Danny asked when I walked into his office Monday morning. "My mom saw your video. She's been texting me non-stop, asking if you've had a nervous breakdown." "I need you to dig up everything you can on Brett Patterson," I said, sliding a manila envelope across his desk. "Employment history, financial records, social media, everything." Danny opened the envelope and whistled when he saw the cash inside. "This is $5,000, man. What exactly are you looking for?" "Anything that proves he's not the golden boy everyone thinks he is." Danny leaned back in his chair. "Jack, I gotta ask, are you planning to do something stupid?" "Define stupid." "Anything that ends with you in jail or on the evening news." I shook my head. "Nothing illegal. I just want the truth about who my fiancée was planning to leave me for." Danny studied my face for a long moment, then nodded. "Give me a week." While Danny worked his magic, I focused on damage control for my business. The wedding video had gone viral locally, and I was getting calls from potential clients who'd either seen it and wanted to hire the savage web designer or cancel existing contracts because they thought I was unstable. Bob Martinez, my business partner, stopped by my apartment Wednesday evening with Chinese takeout and beer. "So," he said, settling onto my couch with lo mein, "on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly do you want to burn down Maggie's entire life? Is 11 an option?" Bob laughed. "Dude, you realize half the town thinks you're either a hero or a psychopath, right? There's no middle ground. What do you think?" "I think Maggie and her friends are bitches who got caught, and now they're trying to make you the bad guy for exposing them." He took a swig of beer. "But I also think you need to be careful about your next move. People are watching." He was right. I'd been getting stares everywhere I went. Some supportive, some hostile, all intensely curious about what I'd do next. My phone buzzed with a text from Danny. "Call me, found something big." I stepped onto my balcony and dialed his number. "Jack, you sitting down?" "Just tell me." "Brett Patterson has been embezzling from Preston and Associates for 2 years. Small amounts, but consistent. He's also been having affairs with at least 3 other employees, including a paralegal who filed a harassment complaint that mysteriously disappeared." My heart started pounding. "Can you prove it?" "I've got bank records, emails, photos, the works. This guy's a predator and a thief." "Send me everything." "Jack, what are you planning to do with this?" I looked out over Millfield's twinkling lights, thinking about Maggie's cruel laughter, about Tessa's hatred, about all the people who thought I was the villain in this story. I'm going to give them exactly what they deserve. The Millfield Business Association meets every Thursday at 7 p.m. in the conference room at the Marriott. It's where all the town's lawyers, doctors, real estate agents, and business owners gather to network and gossip. Brett Patterson never missed a meeting. I arrived at 6:45 p.m. wearing my best suit and carrying a manila envelope. The room was already half full with Millfield's professional elite, including several partners from Preston and Associates. Brett was holding court near the coffee station, regaling a group with some story that had them all laughing. He looked exactly like Central Casting's idea of a successful lawyer. Tall, silver-haired, expensive suit, confident smile. The kind of man who'd never doubted his right to take whatever he wanted. He saw me, and his smile faltered. "Gentlemen, ladies," I said, walking up to the group. "Mind if I join the conversation?" The laughter died. Everyone in Millfield knew who I was by now. "Jack, Brett said carefully. I don't think this is the appropriate place. For what? A business discussion? I smiled pleasantly. I have some information that might interest your colleagues. I opened the envelope and pulled out a stack of photographs, bank statements, email printouts. Did you know, I said conversationally, that Brett here has been supplementing his salary at Preston and Associates by redirecting client payments into a personal account? The color drained from Brett's face. That's a lie. Is it? I handed the bank statements to James Preston, the firm's senior partner. These show regular deposits from your client trust account into Brett's personal checking. Small amounts, 500 here, 1,000 there. Adds up to about 40,000 over 2 years. Preston's face went from confusion to fury as he scanned the documents. Where did you get these? Brett demanded. Public records mostly. It's amazing what you can find when you know where to look. I turned to the group, which had grown as other attendees drifted over to see what was happening. But wait, there's more. I pulled out a series of printed emails. These are correspondence between Brett and Jennifer Walsh, a paralegal at Preston and Associates. She filed a sexual harassment complaint against him last year. Interestingly, that complaint disappeared from HR files, and Jennifer was quietly transferred to the firm's satellite office in Springfield. This is harassment, Brett said, his voice shaking. I'm calling the police. Please do, I said. I'm sure they'd be very interested in these financial records. James Preston was studying the emails now, his jaw clenched. Brett, my office, first thing tomorrow morning. Jim, you can't seriously believe, I said my office, tomorrow, morning. The room had gone completely silent. Everyone was staring at Brett, who looked like he might vomit. I gathered up my documents and smiled at the group. Well, this has been educational. Have a great evening, everyone. As I walked toward the door, I heard Brett call out behind me. This is about Maggie, isn't it? You can't stand that she chose a better man. I stopped and turned around slowly. The entire room was watching. Brett, I said quietly, Maggie didn't choose you. She chose your money, your position, your ability to advance her career, the same way Jennifer Walsh didn't choose you, and neither did the other women you've harassed over the years. I took a step closer. But here's the thing. I'm not some scared paralegal you can intimidate into silence. I'm just a guy with a computer and a lot of free time, and I've barely gotten started. I walked out of the conference room, leaving Brett standing there in front of his colleagues and peers, exposed and humiliated. Phase 2 was complete. I called them out at Riverside Park and got the truth. Tessa hated me because I'd cost her a career-making contract years ago, so she'd helped wreck my relationship by pushing Maggie into Brett's arms. I played a recording that showed Brett never intended to leave his wife. Maggie had been a conquest, not a future, and watched their plans crumble. They'd tried to make me the villain. Instead, I left them with the consequences of their choices and drove away, ready to start over.